Hello there. So I'm down by the River Thames on the beach. I just cycled in, or cycled over more like, by e-bike. And that's not really an e-bike anymore because the battery's not working, so it ended up just being a really heavy bike. You can see I don't know why, but the battery's fully charged and it just suddenly disconnected from the motor, so I don't know. I could basically just lugging this heavy bike around. It's pretty boring. So I want to talk a bit about what was it again? It was about cryptocurrency, basically exiting the system. And this concept of taking money outside of the system. You know, if you're involved in crypto, you might be familiar with it. But I just think a lot of the time, obviously Bitcoin is great for putting your money in, and it acts as a sort of savings account, and the value goes up, like gold, etc., and it can go up quite a lot as it has done. But I just thought the important kind of ideas behind it are actually important to remember, because it's about not just making money or getting gains and stuff. It's also about taking money outside of the system, which system, taking money outside your money outside of the system, so that it can't be manipulated as easily as it is. And you can do that with Bitcoin, and if you're old school, you can do it with gold as well. Obviously, if you buy gold. If you buy gold, and you buy it in specie and you have it delivered, you've basically taken your money outside of the system. If you ever tried it, if you ever bought a significant amount of gold, not like huge amounts, but a significant amount, you might find that your bank starts asking you questions, because I do think it is sort of, it's a sort of bank run in the end, buying gold or buying Bitcoin. It's a sort of long-term bank run that's going on. But I just wanted to bring it back to the idea behind Bitcoin, that can be kind of forgotten. Just quote by Hal Finney, who's often, basically cited as being the most probable kind of person behind the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. Anyway, a quote here that I read from him that was actually quoted in the Economist in his obituary. He said, "The work we are doing here, broadly speaking, is dedicated to this goal of making Big Brother obsolete." And that's basically it. The financial system, hand in glove with the government, basically being the same thing at this point. And that's not just the central banks, the private banks as well, are basically one and the same. They are the state, and because of the system of fiat currency, basically, broadly speaking, being a scam, it's difficult to, you can go into the weeds a bit and, talk about how it works and all the rest, but basically it looks like it's not just the central bank that prints money, obviously, but it's also the private banks that act as a sort of central bank as well, because they can create money out of thin air as well, and that sort of means that the money can be used for political reasons, and you can fund certain companies like the top S&P 500 companies with infinite money, and in the end they just become de facto rulers anyway. And obviously that leads to a sort of surveillance state, because everything's going digital anyway. When you buy gold, you're taking money out of the system. Yes, it's just a sunny rock. Yes, it's inert, but you are still doing that. You're taking money outside of the system. And with crypto as well, right? However, not necessarily, because often people don't do crypto properly, if you like, and when I say cryptocurrencies, I mainly mean proof of work cryptocurrencies, which are supposed to be kind of permissionless and there's a whole kind of system of separation of powers with the miners and everything. But the issue is if the crypto is kept on an exchange, or if it's like a custodial wallet, right, where like I think it's called strike with Bitcoin, like, you know, a strike where your funds, or even Lightning, right, where your funds are held in a sort of custodial bank, as it were, and you transact with IOUs. It's not really the same thing, because you're allowing yourself to kind of fall back into the old system of you know, banking, of fiat currency banking, which started with custodial gold and exchanging you know, receipts of gold that ended up being basically paper currency. But so removing money out of the system into crypto would basically be this: buying Bitcoin, for example, and transferring it to your self-custodial wallet, or any proof of work currency as well. So I guess Litecoin, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, which I like, and Monero, I like those two, and holding them, you know, basically directly, right, where you just have your seed phrase from your wallet and you access it on a self-custody wallet. In other words, you interact directly with the blockchain. You know, so yeah. What was the wallet I was using recently? Stack wallet. You know, nothing happens. Like, for example, you have your cryptocurrency on there, and it just sits there, and it's kind of like, yeah, the value goes up, and it does feel a bit inert, but at least it's a first step, isn't it? It's a first step where you kind of taking a little bit of control out of your finances, and there's that kind of activist side, because a lot of people are unhappy with immigration. You know, there's this whole thing about, at least in the UK, people hoisting England and Union Jack flags just to kind of you know, trigger immigrants and get on the nerves of government by, you know, demonstrating a sort of national community, right? Solidarity amongst, you know, people who actually are supposed to be here. Yeah, so yeah, you can. I think there's more, like, rather than just if you know, you or anyone else is unhappy with the government for good reason, then one other thing to do, I think a more important thing to do, or no, actually just as important, I'll say, would be to basically take your money out of the system, or at least some of it, and, you know, just hold it there for a while and kind of annoy the government that way. Because in the end, you know, when the value does go up, because these are all deflationary currencies in an inflationary system, when the value does go up, they're going to start wanting that money, because in effect they've devalued the national currency. All the Western national currencies have been devalued, and yeah, that's it. That's all there is to say of it. So you're sort of starving the big brother state. And since everything's going digital, then yeah, there's going to be a massive pushback from government, or at least catch up, where they introduce digital ID. Look at that. Which I spoke about in a previous video, but yeah, digital ID, which is just to say, like, they want to connect every crypto wallet, especially Bitcoin, BTC, at the moment, to your identity. And so that's, I think, why a lot of what's going on with Bitcoin is happening for political reasons, right? You know, basically people who are in favor of the financial system as it is currently want to see a sort of second layer solution developed with Bitcoin, you know, Lightning or wherever else, where your identity is tied to your wallet, right? And they know exactly who, you know, owns what, and they can therefore tax it and control it, and everything else. So yeah, that's why I think there is a problem with Bitcoin BTC. That's a whole nother subject. You know, there's a whole Bitcoin Cash debate, which I'll save for another video. But yeah, that's what I've got for today. If you like the video, please like it, comment and subscribe. If not, please also follow me on X or Rumble even. But yeah, that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching. Cheers.